So, before I get into my deep spiritual message that I always have to share that's life changing and profound, I want to talk about this exercise that I've discovered just by looking through TikTok, finding ideas. This is an excellent hip mobility and shoulder mobility exercise that I discovered while looking for ideas on TikTok. This is amazing. It really opens up everything and it strengthens the weaker parts of your shoulders. Every part of this movement is beneficial, and since I discovered this, I've been implementing it in every single workout I've done so far, and I really love how it feels. It's just a great exercise. I'd recommend it to anybody. If you need extra assistance, put your forearm down on the ground like I'm doing right now. As well, lower the weight and even do it without weight if you feel like you need to. Whatever you need to do, um, even the weight of your arm will be enough to activate certain muscles. And so I would recommend doing it as light as possible and then working up to a comfortable weight in a rep range where you feel safe. Because this is a movement where potentially you could be uh, putting your joints and stuff at risk if you go too heavy. But anyways, I wanted to talk about a lesson in life I've been learning recently, and this is the change that will impact the most change, that will produce the most results. This is the change you make at the core of your being. It's when you decide who you are, you set yourself in your identity and your purpose. You decide what you really want in life, and that's by deciding who you're going to become. So I realized this lesson on my mission, which I serve for the church. I was in a new environment where no one knew me before. Fetch. I guess I got to go into this exercise as well. This is a really good one. I don't know how to explain this perfectly, but your body has your muscles. It has all these different tissue. It has muscle, bone, ligament, tendon. There's also this connective tissue called fascia. And so every time you contract or move your limbs or whatever, it stretches this connective tissue. And the best way to get strength in awkward movements is I feel like to resist the stretching. So having to keep both of you, like for example, this up and over movement that I'm about to do right now, it utilizes this twisting and stuff. But the movement before this was more restrictive, and so keeping your shoulders locked in place, but just lifting them through the range of motion without like allowing too much shrugging and whatever, all that stuff, it really incorporates a lot of this resistant strength that is important for mobility and health as well. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll let you guys think about that. Anyways, I wanted to talk about this lesson I think is important. How when you decide who you want to be, the way that that's reflected is by you choosing to be that person every day. So when I was in a new environment where no one knew me, I realized that if I wanted to be somebody that I wasn't, all I had to do was be that person for long enough, and eventually I would become that person. So I lived every day according to that image in my mind of who I wanted to become. No one knew the person I was before, and so I went to work at becoming a different person, and by being that person for long enough, that's who I ended up becoming. And I hope that makes sense to anyone who's listening right now, is that if you have any changes you desire to make, you just got to start making them. You got to start living them day in, day out. It's basically like fake it till you make it, but it's more like practice makes perfect. When you do it over and over again, repetitiously, you become that person that you are being. And so I would invite everyone that listens to this, think about who you want to become and start finding ways to implement those character traits by choosing actions that reflect what a person of that caliber would do. The person that you're aiming at becoming, what would they do on a regular normal basis, and do that, and you will see changes result from that. So this is an exercise that I'm not gonna say I made up, but I just kind of like was trying to be creative on the spot. More like a rotator cuff, rear delt exercise. I'd say more rotator cuff. Keeping the shoulder joint locked in place as much as possible, and then rotating around my elbow to create flexion in the rotator cuff. This was really great. I feel like for rotational strength, as well as I don't know how to explain this. I don't know the terminology. There's resistive strength as well, the ability to resist motion. And so by resisting motion, like on the way down as well, which I guess is called the eccentric. There's a concentric and eccentric portion of the lift. In the fetch, I don't know which one is which. Anyways, on the downward motion as well, you're having to resist the weight as well. So it's a really good exercise. I'm trying to be an example right now of somebody who doesn't really have a lot to work with, but has enough. So right now I'm not in the gym. I don't have a gym membership and haven't been to the gym in like 2 months. But these are the only workouts that I've been doing. And so far I've been able to maintain a level of fitness and strength that I think is acceptable for the time being, as well as I've been able to take the time and the liberty to improve my mobility. And I'm focusing a lot on mobility to the point where my mobility is actually becoming one of my strong points, or stronger points. Like when I was just doing powerlifting, my mobility was trash. And compared to then, I may have lost some strength, but I've gained mobility. So it was a good trade off. Because when I go back to the gym and finally get a membership, I'll be able to incorporate everything, the mobility as well as the strength, the athleticism, the balance, all the things that I'm learning through dumbbell and kettlebell exercises. So this exercise right here, I'm not trying to get strong in my shoulders. I'm trying to train the connective tissue, the fascia that I was talking about. By doing these bilaterally, you don't allow for the stretching of the tissue as much. Like the tissue has to stretch both ways on my body, connecting both of the moving parts. And so I don't know if this makes sense to anyone else, but it does to me in my mind. But by working your joints through the ranges of motion with weight, you're able to strengthen all the connective tissue that's there along with the muscle. So that's my goal. That's what I'm aiming at doing. And I think this is basically the end of the workout right here. This was a fun workout for me, and hopefully this is a fun video for anyone listening. I know this isn't the most flashy content, but I really do think that the substance, the content of this message is very high quality. So anyways, that's me signing off, and I hope you guys have a great day. Go get into the gym and do something productive.